Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's AstroCass here, back with another quick astrology update. This one is for my celebrity series, and we are talking about Emma Watson. I'm so excited. Love her, love Harry Potter. I can't wait to jump into this with you. First of all, though, if you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Cassie. I'd really appreciate it if you guys like this video, comment below, interact, subscribe so you don't miss a thing. It also helps me build my channel up, and I really appreciate that. It's an amazing energy exchange. I do put a bit of time and effort into pre-planning these videos and who I'm going to talk about, and trying to get content for you. So I would really appreciate that. But welcome to my channel. If you enjoy astrology, tarot, health, fitness, motherhood, IVF, then you've come to the right place. And I really hope you enjoy my videos. But with that all being said, let's jump into it and talk about Emma. So let's look at her rising sign. As you can see, she's a Virgo rising, 27 degrees. So what does that mean? The ascendant is what rules your first house. It sets up this natal chart for you. As you can see, there are 12 houses, so 1 all the way around through to 12. And the first house rules over your physical body, your appearance, the energy that you put out there into the world. Yeah, it's your appearance, your body, all of that. So it's a very important house. And when you have a Virgo rising, that means that people could see you as really smart, very intellectual, very logical. Common words and themes for Virgos are um, they're very clean, very hygienic, very routine based, very organized. They're very detail orientated. They can be perfectionists. They're critical, they're analytical, they usually love animals, they love books, they're ruled by Mercury. So all of these themes are what you can kind of see in a Virgo rising. Physical appearance wise, they usually tend to have like a little kind of baby doll, like almost like an alien baby doll look to them, not in a bad way. They also tend to be sometimes, a lot of the time, their facial features and stuff can be a little bit smaller because they are ruled by Mercury. It is an earth sign as well, so you will get that more feminine, softer touch to them as well. But usually with the Virgo rising, you can tell because they're very clean, like their hygiene, their skin, like everything's usually very well looked after, and they give off that kind of clean girl aesthetic look to them. They do have that Mercury side to them too, where just like the clothes that they wear, usually like glasses, they can have like curly hair a lot of the time and darker hair. And they just give off like that like smart librarian, I guess kind of like polished look to them. Yeah, so that's kind of like, I guess, how you can kind of tell with like, I guess, like the preppy school, like librarian kind of look with how they dress and their appearance. But obviously there's a lot more that will give you more information about that as well, like their Venus for like their fashion and style and stuff like that. But just generally, like quick look, that's how you pick them. They'll be very chatty as well. Lots of communication, lots of ideas because they are ruled by Mercury. So quite often these people will be book lovers. They'll be really good with talking and communicating. So yeah, that's her rising sign, and that's how she comes across to people when they first meet her. So very smart, very talkative, and well-spoken person. Um, and then you want to look at Mercury, which is the ruling planet of her ascendant, that Virgo ascendant. So again, Mercury is in another air sign, sorry, earth sign. It is in Taurus. That's an earth sign. And it's in her ninth house. Now, the ninth house has to do with things like publishing, travel, foreign lands, higher education. It has to do with your beliefs, religion, spirituality. All of those things can fall under that. But this house is usually a very intellectual house as well, because it does deal with like higher education. So, university, that sort of academia as well, kind of all fall into that, like philosophy, your beliefs, that higher mind side of things all falls into that ninth house. So you can already see that that is a huge part of her personality, is communicating, writing, publishing books, all of that is like a huge part of her. But when Mercury's in Taurus, this can be more of a focus on resources. So it could be like banks, money, finances, resources, possessions. It can be about like earthly products like food and water. And that can all be quite important to her. Now, you also want to have a look at the aspects. So she has Neptune and Uranus aspecting that Mercury. So again, to me, this is giving off sustainability vibe. So she is a great public speaker for looking after the earth and for feminism and just for all of those sorts of things. So Uranus and Neptune kind of bring in that energy of like the humanitarian side of her, the healing, compassionate um, side where she just wants to help. And she might also be one of those people that's very charitable as well. Obviously she has a fair bit of wealth from the Harry Potter movies, and I feel like she would, work with a lot of charities and support a lot of them and the funding for that. So that's how I kind of see that energy for her playing out. She also has Venus in Pisces. Now that is in exaltation, so that is such a beautiful place for her to have that Venus. It is very well placed there and enjoys that placement. And it's also in the seventh house, which typically Venus rules because Libra usually rules that seventh house. So that's another really strong point, making that Venus even stronger. So money, relationships, any of those Venus themes can be really strong for her and really good. The reason I'm talking about this Venus is because it sends a beautiful sextile up to her Mercury in Taurus. So that Venus in the seventh house in Pisces sextiles her Mercury in Taurus. Now, a sextile is supports and opportunities. So it's a very beautiful aspect to have in astrology. So her Mercury and Venus get along really well, do really well together. So she has a really elegant, beautiful, captivating, charming way of talking and communicating in a very loving, empathetic, caring way. With Pisces, it's very dreamy and very romantic, very mystical and mysterious. So we love that, and I think we already see that side to her as well, which is amazing. If you've ever heard her talk in interviews, anything like that, she's just such a beautiful, caring person, and I think you can really see that side to her. Now, if we have a look at her moon is in the eighth house and it's in Aries. So Aries are the pioneers. They're very bold. They like to do things first. They're very independent, very fiery. It's a fire sign. This is also quite a busy person, quite a sporty person. Aries are like go, 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 do, do, do. When it's in the eighth house links to sex and release. It links to rebirth and links to anything that's hidden and taboo. So other people's money. So if you're married, it could be your partner's money. If you're in a business partnership, it could be your business's money. It deals with like debts, inheritances, taxes, all of those sorts of things, investments, they all fall into that eighth house because they're more of the taboo topics that you don't really talk about, along with deep bonds and sex, like I spoke about. It also deals with endings and cycles being completed. It can deal with DEATH. I'm spelling these things out because I don't want to get like shadow banned or have anything negative on here that could stop my videos from being shared more frequently. But all of those things are eighth house topics. So those things are quite strong in her personality. I would say that there is a side to her that is very hidden unless you're very, very close to her, like a very close one-on-one relationship. I feel like a lot of her actual personality and how she shines is hidden. I also think she might be really good with investments and being a pioneer. I feel like we probably don't hear a lot about it. It's probably done in secret, but I feel like she invests in a lot of companies, and I think she's got a lot of things that she is pioneering and working really hard on. She's an amazing entrepreneur, and Aries energy is definitely entrepreneurial vibes. The eighth house does link to like business, money, other people's money. So I reckon she does a lot of investing in like entrepreneurial businesses in her own, like with her being an entrepreneur, she probably invests a lot of money into those projects. And obviously, yeah, as I said, definitely a pioneer, does things first, very smart in that aspect as well. And then if we look at her moon's in Sagittarius and it's in the fourth house. So the moon enjoys being in the fourth house. It's beautiful there because typically Cancer rules the fourth house and the moon rules Cancer. So it definitely enjoys being in the fourth house. However, the moon in Sagittarius, it's another fire sign. Again, makes this a bit more feisty, more energetic. When it comes to Sagittarius energy, they are very free spirited, very adventurous, very wise, very well educated. They can make really great coaches and really good leaders, especially with that Aries and Sagittarius energy. This person is very much a doer. They like to take action. But when the moon's in the fourth house, that's a very private part of our chart. So her moon is still very private, but it definitely shows a side for her that likes to adventure and be free spirited. And another thing I would say about Sagittarius ruling the fourth house, quite often these people move around a lot, or they live overseas, or they might have multiple homes in different places. So sometimes, yeah, they might end up living in a place that they weren't born in or that they didn't grow up in. And I think we can definitely see that for Emma because obviously she is from the United Kingdom, like London area. Excuse me. But technically, she was born in France, in Paris, as you can see by her birth chart. But yeah, she was born and spent a lot of her time in the UK. Obviously, she was in Harry Potter and did that quite young. There's a lot of traveling involved in that. And I feel like as from what I've seen, as she was an adult, she actually ended up moving to America and she has houses in a few different places. So my understanding, obviously I haven't done a huge research into this, but I believe that she does have residence in both the UK and in America, and she does go between those places. More prominently, I think she's based in the US at the moment in America. So, yeah, I think that definitely shows that Sagittarius energy. So, usually if you see Sagittarius in the fourth house, that usually means that they might move or live overseas or move to foreign lands. So that's another thing that I found really interesting about her chart. So those are a lot of like the really big key points. When you're looking at a chart, you really want to look at the ascendant, the ruler of that ascendant, ruling planet, the sun and the moon. Obviously, I spoke a little bit about that Venus. Relationships for her are like really important. And when she loves really deeply with that exalted Pisces Venus, very dreamy, very romantic in relationships, and they're very important to her. And then if we talk about her Mars is in Aquarius. This is an air sign, and it's in the sixth house. Mars is what we're fighting for and fighting with. It's our passion, it's our motivation, it's our drive, it's our energy. This is in an air sign. So again, this means that her motivation, what drives her is her intellect. It's communication, it's thoughts, it's learning. Aquarius energy is all about humanity. It's rebellion. It's doing things uniquely and authentically. It's about friendships and community and networks. It's about technology. It's about the internet. It's about all of those things. It's about the bigger picture. And that's what motivates her. That's what drives her. And in the sixth house, this is to do with health, fitness, routine, day-to-day activities, work. So the tasks and duties that you do at work, all of those things fall into that sixth house for her. This shows that she definitely spends a lot of her day-to-day in a very kind of chaotic way, because that Aquarius energy is all about your like day-to-day activities. Whether that's at work, whether that's running a household, it's just that shows that energy. And Aquarius energy can be quite chaotic. It can also show that you spend a lot of time with your friends, or that maybe you even work with close friends, or people you work with become really good friends of yours, because it is that Aquarian energy. That's a very friendly, humanitarian, like group-based energy. So I could imagine that a lot of the people that she works with become friends of her, or she works with a lot of people that she's already friends with. Definitely how that energy can play out. Definitely also shows that she might do a lot of stuff with charity and things that are really good for humanity and the community. And she might be a little bit rebellious with how she approaches those things. Again, she might be really great with working in companies, and doing work with technology and the internet. I can see that that Aquarius energy would work really well for her with her day-to-day duties and tasks that she does, for work. Anything to do with like technology and that side of things would be really good for her. What else is standing out? She does have three of the outer planets in her fifth house in Capricorn. So Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn. Saturn shows where we need to be responsible, where we need to put in a lot of hard work. And Saturn's in rulership here in Capricorn. So with her fifth house, this is around her hobbies, her creativity. It's around children. It's around dating and romance and fun and pleasure. She's very serious. The thing is that I don't think people know this or realize this about Emma, but unless you like know her personally, you probably don't realize this, but she's a really hardworking person with that fifth house, Capricorn, and those placements there. Hobbies and fun aren't something that she usually has a lot of time for. And if she does have hobbies, she'll work really, really hard on them. And this will be something that is like a lifelong thing for her, because Saturn rules over time and Capricorn energy is like goal after goal after goal, like goal setting and taking those small steps to achieve the overall bigger picture. So that's a huge part of who she is as a person. So yeah, I just find that really interesting. A Capricorn fifth house can also show having children later in life, or maybe not having them at all, or having very limited children. And having Saturn there as well shows restrictions, limitations. It can show hard work and dedication needed to that. But then Uranus is there as well, which can bring sudden shocks and surprises if and when she does have children. Maybe IVF or some kind of medication might be needed with that Neptune and Uranus there to have children. So who knows, maybe she'll go down the IVF route. I mean, she is obviously, in her 30s now, and that is a time when you do start looking, if you haven't already had children, at using IVF and supports with medicine for fertility in that area. But again, this is all just speculation. Um, Pluto in the third house. Now she's got a Scorpio Pluto in the third house. Now this is really interesting because this shows that Emma's thoughts and her communication style. Obviously, Mercury will show us a little bit about her communication style as well. But typically, the third house links to your communication, your thoughts, siblings. It links to kind of your friendships and like your primary school kind of age group, and short distance travel, and like your neighborhood, your immediate environment. And for that to be Scorpio, that shows that she doesn't trust very easy. She's very skeptical of people. She watches, she's figuring things out. She's very smart. She'll be the type of person that will stand back and take in all of the information, and she'll remember a lot of things. This is fixed water. She is very smart and very switched on. She might also communicate in a very powerful way, because Scorpio and that Pluto rule over power and control. So she could have a very powerful voice, a very powerful way of communicating. And she's not afraid to talk about things that involve abuse, criminal behavior, things that involve like trauma and crisis. She will talk about those things. She's not afraid to touch on those topics, the topics that most people find taboo, most people won't talk about. She's open to communicating and talking about those things. I guess we didn't really talk a lot about that Taurus Mercury in, I guess, the essence of Mercury rules over our communication style. With hers being in Taurus, again, this doubles up on the beautiful voice, the aesthetic voice. They usually have a very grounded, earthy voice, and a very stable, reliable way of communicating. They're very grounded, but they're also very stubborn and fixed with how they communicate, with how they think. So when she makes up her mind on something, you're not going to change her mind because she's a stubborn Taurus. They don't like change. Her thoughts and communication style definitely have that theme, especially when it comes to her beliefs, philosophy, religion, spirituality, those sorts of ninth house topics where this Mercury is. She will not budge. She has her beliefs and she's set on them. She will be very stubborn and stand up for those. Um, and the other beautiful thing is that obviously Venus that rules that Taurus ninth house sends a sextile to that Mercury in its sign. So we love that as well. That's very supportive. Um, Jupiter usually shows where we're going to have a lot of luck and blessings and support. It can also show your husband in your chart if you're a female or marrying a male. And hers is in Cancer, and it's not too far away from her Chiron. So Chiron is the wounded healer. It just shows a lot of wounds and where you do a lot of healing in your life. But coming back to Jupiter, this is showing that she's going to have a lot of luck and abundance and growth and expansion in her 11th house. The 11th house links to friendships, groups, community. It's anything that you're a group or a part of. It also looks at your audience. So whether that's an online audience on social media or just like a public audience, especially because she's famous, a bit of a celebrity, this just shows her general audience, like people that idolize her and consume her movies and TV shows. So with Jupiter there, that shows that she has a lot of luck and blessings with her friends and with her audience. This shows that she could have a lot of expansion in that area of life. And when it's Cancer energy, Cancer is the home, family, it's nurturing, it's the mother. So her audience and her friendships and friends and the groups that she's a part of can be very nurturing for her, can feel like home, can feel like family. So she really loves those relationships. I could imagine that she's a person that would have really fun, amazing friends, but I feel like she would keep like a nice, small, close-knit group of people, ones that are really dear to her, and as I said, the ones that feel like family. So I feel like that's kind of what her friendship's like and what her friends kind of see in her as that nurturing and very motherly side of her. It can also show that the audience kind of have grown up with her with that Cancer energy. Obviously, she was very young when she started filming Harry Potter. So yeah, it can show that side of things too, like growing up in front of the camera, in front of the audience, that type of energy. Now, I think I've gone through pretty much all of the planets. The last thing I'll kind of touch on is the North Node and the South Node. Her North Node is in Aquarius. Now, the North Node is your destiny, it's your life purpose. Hers is in Aquarius and in the sixth house. So this shows that she's destined to work and be an inventor, be somebody that's really good with technology, invention, with the community, with humanity. She's here to work and change things up in some way in that area. And she's already doing a lot of humanitarian projects. So I'm definitely not surprised to see that energy as her like life purpose. And then her South Node is in Leo. So it's just showing that she needs to move away from the fame, from that Leo energy, that I need to stand out. I want admiration. I want to be in showbiz, because that's Leo. Leo is like about the drama, about the attention, about admiration, about self-expression. They're the actors, they're the royals, they're the famous celebrities. All that is all like Leo energy. So South Node is what we need to release and let go of. It can also link to our past life if you believe in that stuff. So hers is in Leo and in the 12th house. So that gives you a bit of context there as well. So I think that gives us a really good summary on who she is as a person. And I find it so fascinating because this just shows the energy, but obviously we don't really know her. Like we see parts through interviews and through movies, and I guess when we have celebrities and people that we idolize, a lot of their personal life can be public knowledge, but also a lot of it can be quite private too. So I think that astrology really helps us understand their soul and who they are as a person in a different way. And I think this has been really fun to see that really smart, wise, bookwormy philosophy type energy that she has about her. Um, and the fact that she has a Gemini midheaven that I did not speak about. But the midheaven is the highest point of your chart, and it's how you are seen in the public, it's how you're seen in your career, with your reputation, with your legacy. And hers is in Gemini, the communicator. I love that. And again, that Mercury, remember, is in the ninth house of philosophy, of travel, of higher education, of your beliefs. And again, what does she communicate a lot about? Her beliefs, about books and intellects, and she has a lot of conversations, and she talks about humanity and humanitarian projects and being kind to each other. She talks a lot about looking after the earth and, I guess, using recycled clothing and all those sorts of things. So I think that was just amazing. But again, if you enjoyed this video, definitely don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss anything, and I'll catch you in the next one.